Hello to my debt-free degree Patreon beloveds. I have a super exciting interview that I'm bringing to you today. This is Patryk Skoplap, and he and I met at Georgia State with we were both mentors in a speed mentoring program. And I happened to mention that this was one of the things that I do, that I teach students how to graduate fully debt-free. And he and I have connected on LinkedIn, and he said, "Oh, by the way, I have a debt-free degree." And I said, "Oh, I would love to interview you." So without any further prolong, I just want, Patryk, for you to introduce yourself a little bit to our community. And then if you could just sort of the trajectory of your debt-free degree and what that looked like.
Sure thing. Very nice to meet you, Dr. Roz, and to be on your show here. Yeah, my name is Patryk Skoplap. I graduated from Georgia State back in December of '95. So my trajectory was the first thing we did was basically the first day of kind of school. Actually, my mom went down there with me, and we went down to the student aid office and asked what kind of aid are we, can we get? What are we qualified for? And the lady was really nice. She went over all the different types of aid that are available, grants, scholarships, things of that nature. And whatever I was eligible for, I applied. And
Excellent.
lo and behold, I wound up getting, some scholarships, some grants, and that helped me through college. Another thing I did was I was part of the cooperative education program at Georgia State, and what that is I was able to get real world experience, kind of like an
Mhm.
internship program, so to
Mhm.
speak. So I was able to work a quarter back then, and then go
Wow.
to school a quarter. So I was able to earn money during every other quarter to help pay for my studies, while also getting practical experience in the real world. And I was also able to do an international co-op in Germany for about 3.5 months. So that was really exciting. Got to see another part of the world, and really learn and brush up on my German, and that helped strengthen my language skills. And throughout college, I just kept applying for different scholarships. I think I've gotten probably, I would say, numerous ones. I'd probably say 5 to 10 different ones. I'd have to go
Wow.
back and double check all of them, but definitely, I still have all my stubs from all the scholarships that I've received. So I'm very proud of
Excellent.
those. And then at the end, I was able to graduate with a debt-free degree from Georgia State, and go out into the working world and start working and earning all the money that I could, just to for my life, instead of having to pay for a degree after college.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Love it, love it, love it. I love that you didn't do this alone, that it was you and your family, that you had this support system around you. And we talk about that a lot in debt-free degree, as far as, there are things that the student can do, but there are some things, a whole lot of things that the parents can do. And so I love that you and your mom did it together, and perhaps even partnered for those 4 years together. Can you think about, so I don't know what the average student loan debt was in '95, but can you think about if you had, let's just say you had even $10,000 to pay off in 1995. Can you
Right.
talk about maybe what your mindset would have been, how it was different that you didn't have that debt?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was really a lot different because, like I said, I was able to go into the job, right away. So I was able to start, for example, start saving in my 401k, back when I first got my first job, and then of course, as you have the time value of money, then that account can grow over time a lot
Yes.
more effectively than if you start saving later on in life. So
Yes.
that was a big plus there, because instead of paying for
Great point.
debt, I was able to build, my future retirement savings at an early
Yes.
age, which is a huge trajectory and a huge game changer
Yeah.
for everybody. So that was a big thing there. And then actually, later on in my early 20s, I was able to purchase my house, and
Wow.
that's a big thing too. That's another great wealth builder. And I'm currently in real estate now, as a realtor, so I definitely am very thankful for that. And that was my mom pushing me. She was a retired realtor as well,
Oh,
and
wow.
she helped me get that first house. And and it's a life changer. The the wealth that accumulates over time is incredible. And basically, through grit, determination, support, I was able to accomplish all these things, and have a lot better life starting out after college without debt than with debt.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Well, I love that you mentioned GRIT because that's an acronym that I use in all of my programs. And the GRIT in debt-free degree is the G is grants and scholarships, and there's 30 billion with the B, $30 billion in grants and scholarships out there. The R you've already also mentioned is ROI, or return on investment. The I is interconnectedness, and so how are you working smarter, not harder? And then the T is my triangle approach, and that is the student money. Then FM is your friends, your family, your folks, the people you're familiar with. And then OPM is other people's money. And so I'm curious with being a real estate professional, I just have heard this recently, and honestly, it never occurred to me. And I don't know if this is even so if this is inappropriate to ask, then we can just go on to a different question. But I
Sure.
just heard I think like last week that debt is one of the biggest factors that people can't buy a home, that student loan debt. Even though I hear a lot about that student loan debt, like, so my whole program is don't accrue the debt. But for
Right.
those who've already accrued it before they encounter me, I've always heard one example or one reason is that it's good debt. But is that true that it can derail you from qualifying for a home?
Potentially, I mean, that would be definitely more of a question for a lender, but they definitely look at the debt to income ratio. So it does play a role in determining, how much of a house you'd be able to afford, and that ratio plays a role in being able to, secure a loan, and at what percentage as well. So
Wow.
definitely, a lender can go into a lot more detail on that and explain it a lot more, but it does play a role.
Wow. So it does play a role. Wow. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. So looking back, or like what your graduate Patryk self would say to a graduate of high school this year, like a 2023 graduate, what would you tell that person?
Yeah, well, I would not even a graduate of high school. I would say to, somebody just entering high school is get good grades, be well rounded, volunteer for anything that you can, especially if you have a specific field of study that you're already gearing towards, and look for those opportunities, because I believe, and Dr. Raj, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I've gotten the Georgia Hope Scholarship. Part of that was having good high school grades,
Yes.
so that's kind of where it starts. And then even if you weren't able to do that going into college, like Dr. Rao said, there are multiple grants and scholarships, and if you do your research, there's so much money out there. There's certain scholarships that are only for certain kind of qualifications. So there's multitude of money out there. So I would say, seek it out and look
Mhm.
for it, and you'll find something.
Yes.
And there's a way, where there's a will, there's a way. That's what I always say. So
Yes.
just go get them, and like Dr. Roz and I both say, through grit, determination,
Mhm.
and and family support, you can do it, and you can graduate debt free yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Patryk, you are such a delight. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your debt-free degree story. Thank you for encouraging other students to graduate debt-free. And then, in that bigger picture, thank you for the speed mentoring that you do. I sense, if you're anything like me, that's not the only mentoring that you do all year long, that just happened to be for you or that day mentoring folks. And so I appreciate all the goodness and love that you put out into the world, and just grateful that our paths have crossed. So thanks for being so generous with our community.
My pleasure, Dr. Roz. My pleasure.
All right, y'all.
Thank
Until
you for
next
having
time,
me.
appreciate y'all. Bye bye.
Bye bye.